There's a reason why wontons have lasted thousands of years. They're packed with flavor and umami, and they're also equally as fun to make as they are to eat. So today, I'm going to show you how I make perfect Sichuan-style wontons at home. A dish my parents would get me from the neighborhood takeout spot after every basketball game. I mean, look how excited I was for those wontons. We'll also make a sauce my wife refers to as liquid gold. All that in under 30 minutes on a weeknight. So let's get going, because today we're making wontons are one of the oldest Chinese stuffed dumplings still eaten today, with origins that trace back to at least the Han Dynasty more than 1800 years ago. The difference between wontons and dumplings grew over time until wontons developed into their own distinct tradition. So I'm going to get started with the filling, which is going to feature some pork and shrimp. And my favorite wontons are inspired from the Sichuan region of China, which tends to be known for its spicy and numbing flavors. That's where Sichuan peppercorns come from. First thing you want to do is break down some shrimp into a nice fine mince, like almost a paste, and we're going to add that to some ground pork. I typically like to use about 2 parts pork to 1 part shrimp. And next we're going to add in some aromatics. I'm grating in about 1.5 cloves of garlic, which for me is undoubtedly one of the most annoying things in cooking. I genuinely think that the ends of my fingers are just a little bit shorter from the amount that I've shaved off grating aromatics alone. Taking my sweet time here, I'm also getting in about 1/2 knob of ginger. We're going to move into getting some Shaoxing wine in there, maybe about 2 or 3 tablespoons, followed by some low sodium soy sauce. If you don't have Shaoxing wine, you can use some dry sherry or maybe some sake. I'm going to also get in some white pepper, followed by some roughly chopped green onions. Alright, then you just want to take a clean hand or maybe use a glove, and you want to really make sure that you mix this up nice and well. Also, this is a good time to add in 1/2 tablespoon of salt and maybe a sprinkle of MSG, but I forgot to videotape that. You know, making your own wontons sounds like something that would be complicated and super complex, but it's actually something that once you get the hang of it, you can make it on a weeknight in 30 to 45 minutes. Especially if you're using store-bought wonton wrappers, which is honestly what I recommend. Okay, so this is the fun part. You want to take about 1 tablespoon or so of your filling, and then with a little bit of water on your finger, just kind of go along 2 of the edges, and we're going to fold it over into a triangle. And it's super critical that you don't overfill them, because you want a little bit of real estate here on the edges to kind of pinch them closed nice and evenly. Then you want to press a dimple into the bottom, wet your finger again, and then bring the 2 ends together. I'm going to show you guys from a better angle, but this is what it should look like at the end. This shape is referred to as the gold ingot. Okay, so let's review that again. Don't overfill it. Then a little bit of water on the finger, get it along the edges, and then we're going to fold it together like a triangle. See, there's our fold. Press all the air out. Make sure you got some nice real estate. Dimple, more water, and then bring the 2 ends together. And you got yourself a golden ingot. Well done. And I'm just kind of laying these all out on a sheet tray with a light dusting of cornstarch to stop them from sticking. All right, now you can get these into a big wok of boiling water, or if you don't have a wok, feel free to use a pot. Basically, the key is we just want to make sure that they're not sticking together, so you want to keep them moving as much as you can. But at the same time, we want to be super gentle with them so we don't wind up with any punctures or, God forbid, waterlogged wontons. Let these go for 4 to 5 minutes before using a spider or a fine mesh sieve to get them out into your bowl. If you've been digging the background music, I write and produce all of it myself, and it's available on streaming platforms under the name Jandre FM. And you can download the files for free on my Patreon. No sign up required. My channel isn't big enough for sponsors yet, but on Patreon I'll be posting additional recipes, videos, music, and more. So please consider supporting my content with a membership. I'll leave a link down below. The main reason that I make these wontons is just to have an excuse to essentially drink this sauce, which is going to start off with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of a good chili oil. Then a couple tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. I'd say about 3 parts chili oil to 2 parts soy sauce. There's a restaurant in Los Angeles called Din Tai Fung that somewhat is responsible for popularizing the style of wontons and sauce, which ultimately gained a lot of popularity and hype on social media. So we got about 1.5 tablespoons of rice vinegar, followed up by a good pinch of sugar to help balance things out. And we're back to my favorite thing in the whole world, grating ginger. You can also add some garlic in at this point, but I personally find that raw garlic can be a little overly pungent, so I'm just gonna go with some green onion instead. You can go as fine as you want here, but I'm just going for a more rustic feel today. Then I'm gonna get in a little bit of white pepper. I like using white pepper here because it has a more sharp, kind of funky and almost extra savory flavor, because typically the black outer husk of a black peppercorn is removed after soaking and fermenting, so it kind of removes some of those woody and fragrant flavors you'd otherwise get from black peppercorns. Alright, we're in the home stretch. We got our sauce, we got our wontons. This is not the time to hold back. Seriously though, I wouldn't go as far as to say that you should make this into a soup, but you want enough sauce to really coat the wontons with each bite. And just a couple quick finishing moves here. We're gonna get on some toasted sesame seeds, followed by some Sichuan peppercorns for some numbing heat that I kind of crushed up in a mortar and pestle. Final move is to add some roasted peanuts for a little bit of nutty crunch to it, but this is optional. And there it is. You got yourself some Sichuan style wontons. I'd say pretty minimal effort. It's a Wednesday night here, and we're just chilling. Alright, let's see how it is. The tender and dare I say slippery wontons, the savory and spicy sauce, some texture from the peanuts. It's balanced, and honestly, it feels like I just got out of my basketball game. Please give a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.